Now this video is going to explain the price I paid for the little Yamaha Zuma and how I bought it at the shop. And this video is mainly for like Serpenza people that are not in the United States, and to show you just an insight on how bike sales are done. The first thing is all bikes have a list price, or a manufacturer's list price, which they start at. So if you walk in and they say it's $15,000, well, that's their price if you want to pay full price. Now with motorcycles, and I got trapped in this one time, they've added a bunch of fees and prices which are interesting, so you have to be aware of that. Because if you call up a salesman and say, what's the price? He says $15,000. There could be 6 or 7 other add-on fees that you don't know about. So what I did was, this is the receipt right here. Now the list price for the little Yamaha 2013 Zuma was about, I believe, $25.70. And you can see here it's lower. Now I knew that it was going to cost more than the $25.70 because my state puts on a 8.9% sales tax. There's also a licensing fee that you have to pay for to get a license. And they also have what's called a freight and setup fee. And this is a thing I didn't know about. They charge you a percentage of the bike to put it together, which I find kind of odd, but that's what they do nowadays. So what I did was I went in and they told me the list price, and I said, okay, if you go in and you buy a bike at any of these dealerships, the first thing you ask them is not what the price of the machine is. You want to know the quote unquote out the door price, or what is it going to cost me for the list price plus all the little add-on bullshit fees and things like that, the little secret taxes that I'll have to pay before I can get this in my hands. And they told me it'd be about $3,200. So that's with the base price of about $25.70. So what I did was they charge a freight and a setup fee of $217, which basically means they put the bike comes in a crate with everything's hooked up. All they do is they put the front forks on, I think, put a little bit of gas and water in it, charge up the battery, and that's what it costs you. Now on a bigger bike like a Ninja or something else, it would cost you, could cost over $900 or a lot. Now my state sales tax for this amount up here is $231. So you're gonna have to pay that. And then they have a documentary service fee. That's when you go in and you pay the cashier. The guy's got to spend 15 minutes with you, going through paperwork, having you sign 5 or 6 papers. It costs $79. Now, a lot of times you cannot negotiate sales tax, the title and registration or bank fees tax, or whatever, documentation, but you can negotiate the base price. And if you know what the bike cost, and most markup on bikes that I've found, and you can go to websites that research this, if you see a bike that is list priced for so much, it's probably been marked up 9 to 15% by the dealership, or they got it for 9 to 15% cheaper than that. That's where they make the profit. So what I did is they asked how I wanted to pay for it, and I whipped out 30 $100 crisp brand new bills and threw them on the table and said, I'll give you $3,000 cash for it right now. In America, cash has a certain magical way of making things happen. We have a saying in America, and this is for my non-American watchers, is that money talks and bullshit walks. So if you whip out the long green and throw it on the table right there in front of their eyes, they'll see what they can do. And at first he said, well, I don't know if we can do that. There's not much markup, blah, 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 blah. And I looked at him like, well, okay, then I'll just leave. You know, I'll pick up a bike somewhere else. And then he goes, well, let me check the computer and see what the markup is. So we got into the computer and checked it for a second. And he goes, deal. So I went into the office. I paid the money. They gave me a receipt. They give you a little fake license plate until my state issues me a license to put on the back of the bike, which usually takes about 10 days. And then I brought it home. So that's how you buy a bike in the United States. They don't have a lot of variety as, say, Europe or some of these places, but they do have the biggest and most expensive and fastest bikes in the world. I saw the Ninja, the Hayabusa, and that they had two red $30,000 Ducati. They're called Elons or Melons or something, 998s, I think. Beautiful bike. It had a big yellow spring right next to the gas, underneath the gas tank, going back to front. I don't know what the hell, it was a shock. It was really cool. So that's how I bought it, and that's how much I paid for the bike. $3,000 in cash, covered everything, and I believe I got a good deal because the bike will last me a long time. And as I get older, let's face it, I'm not going to be doing Isle of Man TT races like I usually do before they banned me because my moped was just too damn fast. So that's the way it is in America. And God bless you all. I love my bike.